The agenda for today's workshop is as follows. First, we will discuss contests and candidate qualifications, then nomination papers, forms in the manila envelope, Form 700 in campaign finance, mass mailings, political signs, and electioneering. You will then hear from the Ethics Commission, followed by key dates for this election. We will take questions and then move into matching funds, followed by another question and answer period. If you're attending this meeting virtually, you can pick up your nomination papers and manila envelope at City Hall, Window 12, during the nomination period starting February 9th and ending March 6th at 5 p.m. This is a citywide odd district election year with the offices of Mayor, City Auditor, City Attorney, and City Prosecutor, Districts 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 on the ballot. The general requirements for all candidates are as follows. A candidate must be a U.S. citizen, 18 years or older, and a registered voter living in the jurisdiction identified on the nomination papers at least 30 days prior to the end of nomination period. As an example, the candidates for the citywide offices must be a registered voter residing in the city of Long Beach. Candidates for a district must be registered voters residing within the boundaries of the district they are running for. My office does confirm each voter registration status and the residential address prior to issuing nomination papers. In addition to the qualifications I just stated, candidates for the offices of City Auditor must be licensed to practice in the state of California as a certified public accountant and have been so certified for at least 5 years immediately preceding the date of nomination. Candidates for the offices of City Attorney and City Prosecutor must be qualified to practice in the state of California and have been so certified for at least 5 years immediately preceding the date of nomination.
Nomination papers. This is the part of the candidate filing process where you collect signatures from registered voters who live within your council district. You must collect at least 20 valid signatures from registered voters in your district. We strongly recommend you collect 30 signatures just in case some are invalid. Only one person may circulate your nomination papers, and yes, you can sign your own nomination papers. Before you turn in your nomination papers, we encourage you to use our courtesy signature check. You can email our office a copy of your completed nomination papers, and staff will let you know whether you have the required 20 valid signatures. If you don't have the sufficient amount of valid signatures, we'll issue you supplemental nomination papers so you have time to collect additional signatures. Please be advised, we will only issue one supplemental if you have fewer than 20 valid signatures. This is why we recommend the courtesy check. It helps avoid last-minute issues when you're ready to file. A few additional tips to keep in mind. Make sure signers are registered to vote at their current address and live in the district you're running in. Please make sure each signer has completed all required fields on the nomination form to help ensure their signature and registration is valid. This includes the resident's address, city, printed name, and signature. Don't wait until the last day. Allow extra time to gather signatures. You can find more detailed information about nomination papers in Section 3 of the Candidate Handbook. Manila envelope and forms. We'd like to briefly highlight a few of the forms that often generate the most questions. Form 501, Candidate Intention Statement. This form declares your intent to run for office and must be filed before raising or spending campaign funds. Ballot Designation Worksheet. This form is the title that will be printed under your name on the ballot. It must be your current principal, profession, vocation, or occupation. It legally cannot be more than 3 words, and you must provide proof of your designation. Proof provided in the past has included check stubs, a letter from your HR department, IRS paperwork listing your position, a business license, a printout from your employer's website, or something that proves your ballot designation. The attorney's office will be reviewing all designations to ensure we meet legal requirements. If you would like to discuss further or have questions, please call our office to set up a meeting. Official declaration of candidacy forms. These forms officially declare your intent to run for office and must be completed accurately and match your voter registration information. Candidate statements are your opportunity to talk directly to voters and tell them who you are and why you're running for office. The candidate statement is optional and can be up to 200 words. If you choose to submit, it will appear in the sample ballot booklet and there is a cost. We require a hard copy of your candidate statement to be filed with your nomination packet. Once the statement is filed, it cannot be changed, so please review it carefully before submitting. The estimated cost of the candidate statement can be found in Section 4-2 of the Candidate Handbook and is due at the time you file your papers. Please keep in mind that this amount is only an estimate. Once the county determines the actual cost, you may be asked to either pay the remaining balance or receive a refund. All nomination forms, including your candidate statement, must be filed at the same time. Formatting matters. Excessive hard returns, spacing, or bullet points can cause your candidate statement to flow into additional columns, which may increase the cost. Candidates also have the option to have their statement printed in Spanish for an additional fee. Finally, you may choose to have your statement published online only rather than in the printed sample ballot booklet. To view these forms and additional information, please refer to Section 4 of the Candidate Handbook.
Hello, my name is Philip McGowan, and I will be going over the following slides. Form 700, Campaign Finance Filing Requirements, Mass Mailings, Political Signs, and Electioneering. Form 700, or Statement of Economic Interest, is a state-required filing which aims to provide transparency and to give the public reassurance into what sources may be influencing a potential candidate. Each candidate must complete their Form 700 before the close of nomination to fully qualify. Failure to file on time may affect your eligibility. Starting in 2026, the Fair Political Practices Commission, or FPPC, has mandated all candidates running for office to file through their FPPC portal. You will no longer be filing with our office, but will still require a working email address to send to the FPPC for the creation of your account. Please confirm your email when submitting your candidate contact form at today's workshop. Unfortunately, the submittal of paper copies will no longer be accepted. When submitting your form, you will be required to disclose individual stocks over $2,000. Stocks held in a diversified mutual fund are excluded. Business entities such as LLCs or partnerships, real property that is not your personal residence, non-governmental salaries, gifts not from family over $50, and travel reimbursements. If you have nothing to report, you must still submit a filing indicating no reportable interest. Please note that each schedule has specifics on what is and is not reportable. More information can be found in Section 8-5 of your handbook or with the Fair Political Practices Commission. We understand Form 700 can be overwhelming, but our office is here to assist you. Please call or email us using the information provided on the contact page in your handbook if you have any questions. Thank you, and happy filing. The raising and spending of money in connection with a campaign is governed by the Long Beach Campaign Reform Act and the California Political Reform Act. All candidates must adhere to these rules when spending or raising funds, such as individual contribution limits, personal loans, and the time periods for fundraising. All candidates must keep accurate track of their campaign finance and never commingle these funds with personal accounts. We strongly encourage our candidates to hire a professional treasurer. The amount a candidate raises or spends will dictate what specific requirements they must follow. For candidates staying under $2,000, a one-time campaign statement, or Form 470, will be due by the date of the first pre-election. For candidates crossing the $2,000 threshold, you will be required to form a committee by filing a Form 410 with the Secretary of State. You will also be required to submit multiple campaign statements during the election cycle. We've broken down all of this in Section 8 through Section 11 of our handbook. This includes filing schedules, contribution limits, and what steps to take when raising or spending money, and what to do after the election. As always, our office is available via email or phone for specific questions you may encounter. An easy way for candidates to get their message out there is through advertisements, such as mass mailings. But what are they? Mass mailings are whenever more than 200 substantially similar messages are distributed to the public during a given calendar month. This is not only limited to physical mail, but digital messages, radio ads, and other communications. Another popular form of communication is political signage. We want to advise all candidates that Long Beach limits the placement of political signs to private property. Any placement on public property may result in removal of signs and fine against the candidate. Political advertisements have specific disclaimer rules depending on the type of media used, such as mailers, social media, and yard signs. For more information, please refer to Section 7 of the Handbook or the Fair Political Practices Commission Campaign Manual 2. The city strives to ensure fair conduct during all Long Beach elections. Elections Code Section 319.5 restricts any person from attempting to influence or disrupt the vote of another voter within 100 feet of a vote center or drop box. Examples include asking a person to vote for or against an item, loitering near a ballot drop box, circulating petitions, or even displaying a candidate's name on a hat. Any person conducting electioneering will be guilty of a misdemeanor. We ask, if you witness any of these activities, to notify a county vote center worker immediately. For more detailed information, please see Section 7-5 of the Candidate Handbook.
Hi and welcome. My name is Bobby Pollack, and I serve as the chair of the Long Beach Ethics Commission. On behalf of the Commission, thank you for your interest in running for public office and for participating in today's candidate workshop. Choosing to run for office is a meaningful decision. It reflects a willingness to serve your community and to be accountable to the public. Whether this is your first campaign or you have participated before, we appreciate your commitment to civic engagement and public service. The Ethics Commission is an independent charter commission approved by voters in 2018. Our role is to promote ethical government through guidance and recommendations to city departments, the mayor and the city council, and input on the Office of Ethics and Transparency's education program. We conduct public outreach and solicit the public's views on city government, among other responsibilities. We do not support or oppose specific candidates, and we do not participate in campaigns. Instead, our responsibility is to help ensure that Long Beach's democratic process is fair and transparent. Ethics is more than simply following rules. While laws and regulations provide essential guardrails, many real-world decisions, particularly during campaigns, do not come with a clear yes or no answer. Situations often arise in gray areas where judgment matters just as much as compliance. That is why the city emphasizes an ethical decision-making framework, an approach that encourages individuals to ask questions and consider how decisions may affect the public. An ethical lens invites reflection. Is this decision transparent? Is it fair and impartial? Does it reflect accountability? Would I be comfortable seeing this choice explained publicly? These moments of judgment are often where ethics matters most. At the heart of this framework are the City of Long Beach's 6 core values: accountability, equity, impartiality, diversity, transparency, integrity. These values serve as guideposts, especially when the right path forward is not immediately clear. During a campaign, they help shape how information is shared, how resources are used, how supporters are guided, and how opponents and community members are treated. They remind us that the way a campaign is conducted can be just as important as its outcome. Approaching campaign decisions through a value-based framework helps ensure choices are not only lawful, but also aligned with the public's expectation. One way candidates can demonstrate this commitment is through the Fair Campaign Pledge. The pledge reflects the same principles found in the city's ethical framework: honesty, respect, transparency, and accountability. By signing it, candidates voluntarily commit to conducting campaigns in a manner that promotes civility and trust, and to encouraging their supporters to do the same. The Fair Campaign Pledge represents a public commitment to lead with integrity throughout the campaign process. Ethical decision-making does not require having all the answers. It means knowing when to pause, when to ask questions, and when to seek guidance before acting. The city provides a number of resources to support candidates, including the Candidate Handbook, workshops hosted by the city clerk, and educational materials related to ethics and campaign requirements. Asking questions early is one of the most effective ways to prevent confusion and protect both candidates and the public. Campaigns shape public trust long before Election Day. By approaching your campaign through an ethical lens, grounded in the city's values, guided by transparency, and informed by thoughtful judgment, you help strengthen confidence in our local democracy. On behalf of the Ethics Commission, we wish you the very best in the months ahead and thank you for your commitment to ethical public service. In closing, thank you again for your willingness to serve.
Key dates. Here are some very important key dates to keep in mind. Today, February 9th, marks the start of the nomination period, and March 6th is the close of nomination. April 23rd through May 12th is the mailing of official sample ballot booklets. May 4th is the beginning of mailing of vote-by-mail ballots. May 18th is the last day to register to vote without needing to do same-day registration once the voting period begins. And June 2nd is Election Day. For a more complete overview of dates, we recommend reviewing Section 1-3 of the Candidate Handbook. Today's overview covers only some of the key dates, and there are many other important deadlines that are equally important to pay attention to.